you want to pick a URC team that has played probably over 10 games for their club this season. The likes of, even Gary Ringrose, I don't think he's got there, but there wouldn't be another 13 that I would have ahead of him. So there's maybe one or two guys you can maybe let away. But I think, Rugby World Cup winner Stephen Kitskoff at loosehead prop, he's been, the captain of the Stormers. He's moving to Ulster next year, thank God. And yeah, he's been, putting in some really good performances. And the big players usually rise to the big occasion. So let's see how his team get on in their quarterfinal in the URC. At hooker, got to go with Tom Stewart. Try scoring record in the URC, took over from Tim Visser, up to 16 tries in the URC. So he has to go in there, and he's playing second fiddle to Rob Herring. So fair play to him. Finlay Beelum, well, what a player he's been this season. His game has come on leaps and bounds, and I think him just being introduced into the Irish squad, being in that environment, it's brought his game on so much. His set piece work is arguably one of the best around. And yeah, he puts in stellar performances week in and week out. You've Van Heerden or James Ryan in the second row. Again, James Ryan probably around that 10 games in the URC, obviously being managed a lot, but Van Heerden has been a bit of a brute, and to have a big guy like that, South African in the second row certainly helps. I'm going to go with Rutsa in the second row. I know a lot of people might say, okay, he was brilliant in the Six Nations for Italy. Maybe not the same form, but like a couple of the games that I watched, the Ulster game in particular, when they won in the last minute with the Rhino Smith penalty, he was just quality, and he just keeps going and going and going and going. Wouldn't matter if he played 3 rugby matches in a row, he would still be at that same level. He's a quality operator, and somebody I think wears his heart on his sleeve week in and week out. 6 was a difficult one, because I'm not sure that there's been one standout. I think the South African teams, they change their back row quite often. So one week you think, oh, he's flying, and then next week you go, oh, he's going well. And you could easily go with like Keelan Doris or somebody like that. But I think somebody, again, who's very consistent, who's helped their team, right up there is Sebastian Negri. He had a really good Six Nations as well. Obviously a South African background, but he's applied himself really well to the Italian culture and has immersed himself in the Benetton colours for the last number of years. He's a huge man, huge man, carries, always gets across the gain line. You don't want to run into him in defence. And I think, somebody like him in an Ulster jersey, I think you'd see an even better player. I've got to go with Scott Penny at number 7. He's just probably the most consistent player in the league. Top tackler, scores a lot of tries, and it's hard to look past him. Gavin Coombs, again, for his try scoring ability at number 8. He's the only Munster man that I have in my team. I had to get one in there, or else the Munster fans would be on top of me. I'm going to go for Grant Williams at number 9. He scored an electric try, not last weekend, the weekend before. He has just got pure gas. He scored an amazing try against Ulster in Belfast. He's been sort of in and out of the squad, on the bench starting, and I think he has a huge future ahead of him. So I've got to go with Grant Williams. Ross Byrne at out half. Played a lot of games for Leinster this season. Prolific with the boot, 95% kicking average. That's who you want at number 10. James Lowe on the wing. You could go with Van der Merwe, but he came mid-season into Edinburgh. You could go Balakoon, you could go Jimmy O'Brien, you could go maybe even Johnny McNichol of Scarlets, who has a bit of a resurgence in recent months. But I think James Lowe, with his kicking ability and how big a player he is for Leinster, and that's why I think it's going to be a lot tighter this weekend, because he is so important for Leinster. I'm going for Stafford McDowell at 12. I know a lot of Glasgow fans maybe say Tuipulotu should be playing 12, but I think Tuipulotu showed a lot more in the Six Nations. And then when you talk about him, you kind of think more of the Six Nations rather than the URC. But just take that Munster game away from home. Glasgow, need the points to secure a home quarter final, or make the last couple of rounds a little easier. He's the captain, playing 12. He was off the charts. So good. He got man of the match that day. And then all of a sudden people are going, well, how are you going to play this guy when Tuipulotu, Hugh Jones come back into the situation? Well, a bit of a problem on their hands because McDowell is a quality operator. I went with Ringrose at 13. You could maybe put Palatu in at 13. But no, got to go with Gary Ringrose. He is, for me, he's probably the best outside centre in world rugby. Darcy Graham, 10 tries in 10 appearances for Edinburgh. Edinburgh, pretty poor season, but he's a quality finisher. And Arensa, the Bulls fullback, who kick loosely this guy, he's going to absolutely cut you in two. So, you want an attacking threat. Mikey Larry hasn't really done it this year. Hugo Keenan hasn't played enough games in the URC for me. So that's why I'm going for Arensa. So yeah, a bit all over the place. I think maybe, the Scarlets maybe unlucky to miss out. Maybe Fafita could possibly jump in there in the back row ahead of Negri. But he got himself a couple of red cards or yellow red cards at the start of the season. And a few other guys that you could swap in and out. But I think all in all, that team would go pretty well in the URC next season.